Next, business. Yukaro joins us here in the studio. Great to see you.
Hi, Mark.
Global oil prices continue to rise as a stalemate over the Strait of Hormuz continues.
Well, crude prices extending gains as Iran rejected a US ceasefire proposal and stuck to its own counteroffer, which Donald Trump dismissed as garbage. Brent crude is climbing near $108 a barrel, while the US's WTI once again breached the $100 mark. Meanwhile, Bloomberg reported that Qatar had requested LNG tankers near its Ras Laffan port to switch off their transponders as part of safety measures. The effective closure of the Strait of Hormuz has left about 20% of global liquefied natural gas flows stuck inside the Gulf, and Qatar's key production site has been damaged by Iranian attacks, with its operator declaring a force majeure for up to 5 years on some long-term contracts. Over the weekend, though, one ship carrying Qatari LNG passed through the strait for the first time since the start of the war.
The energy crisis is also having an impact on US consumers, even though the US doesn't import that much crude from the Gulf.
Well, new data from the Labour Department this Tuesday showed overall consumer price index jumping to 3.8% in April from a year ago, the highest annualized inflation since May of 2023. Higher energy prices, up nearly 18% over 12 months, are the main driver. Looking more closely, energy commodities really skyrocketed, with fuel oil up 54% and gasoline rising 28%. Excluding food and energy, annual inflation stood at 2.8%, Mark.
And in Japan, the Iran war is taking colours away from packets of crisps.
Yeah, Mark, Calbee, the biggest snack maker in Japan, has announced it will temporarily switch to black and white packaging because of supply concerns. The change will affect 14 of its best-selling products, including crisps and the Kappa Ebisen prawn crackers. And the special petrol-saving packets will start to appear in shops from the 25th of May. The company says it's taken the measure in response to, quote, supply instability affecting certain raw materials amid ongoing tensions in the Middle East. Japanese media are reporting that raw material is naphtha, an oil derivative that's used in printing ink. Before the war, around 40% of Japan's naphtha imports came from the Persian Gulf. The Japanese government sought to reassure consumers there is no supply concern. Let's take a listen.
Regarding printing ink or naphtha, as of now, we have not received any reports about immediate risks to supply, and we understand that necessary amounts are secured for Japan as a whole. Relevant ministries are coordinating efforts to assess the situation and are closely communicating with private companies.
Soaring fuel and fertiliser prices continue to put pressure on farmers across the world. Here in France, the government's urging the agricultural and retail sectors to have a dialogue on how to share that burden.
Yeah, Mark, in France, wholesale prices for grocery products are typically negotiated at the start of the year, and for 2026, talks wrapped up just as the Iran war was getting underway. This has left farmers facing higher bills while being obliged to sell at the agreed price. In the south of France, some producers decided to launch their own supermarket, and it's going pretty well. Brian Quinn and our colleagues at France Télévisions have more.
Local produce, fresh as can be. Behind this vibrant display lies a novel approach to supermarket retail.
Bonjour.
This farmer is delivering eggs from his chickens directly to shelves.
This is my spot.
He can do so because this is his establishment. His photo is even on the wall. Along with 180 other local farmers, he's a part owner in the store. And here he sets his own price. No fierce negotiations with a middleman required. The store buys his 6 eggs at €2.22 and resells them at €3.15. The margin goes to the salaries of the store's 19 employees.
It's a way to sell our products for what they're worth, which is a fair price.
Customers are quickly getting a taste for it. Many see it as their way to make a difference.
We've all seen the farmers struggling so much. It's nice to be able to support the working people in our region.
And it is helping some to emerge from severe difficulties. This farmer's leek field has been planted especially for the store.
For a kilo, I get 1.70 now. Before, I'd be lucky to get 50 cents.
The extra margin has allowed him to get his operation back on its feet.
I was able to pay all my debts and make investments.
4 new full-time employees and a new local clientele, including nearby school cafeterias. It's a plentiful bounty, much like for the shop itself, which harvested revenues of 7 million euros in 2025 from some 150,000 customers. The Regional Chamber of Agriculture is hoping to replicate its success with the opening of new sites.
Brian Quinn, though, those leaks looking really good indeed. Next, the EU turning up the heat on social media firms.
European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen says that Brussels is working on new rules to protect children against the addictive designs of social media platforms, taking aim at the likes of TikTok and Instagram. Europe is hardening its stance on social media, with several countries, including France, working on legislation to set age limits to protect teens. Speaking at an AI event in Denmark, von der Leyen said that risks from overuse were multiplying fast, citing sleep deprivation, depression, self-harm and exploitation among growing problems. She said that addictive features and manipulative practices would be the target of a new law the EU is preparing called the Digital Fairness Act, which would expand its existing Digital Services Act. Let's take a listen.
The question is not whether young people should have access to social media. The question is whether social media should have access to young people. And childhood and early adolescence are formative years. And I believe we should give our children more time to become resilient in these vulnerable phases.
That was the European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen speaking earlier today. And that's it from the Business Desk.
Jukka, thank you very much indeed. Jukka back with more business throughout the evening.